So in the aftermath of Cori Bush being defeated, she said that, oh my God, AIPAC, I'm going to tear your kingdom down. To which I have to say, where was this radical fight from the very beginning? Where was it? Where was it? I don't know. You know, a lot of these squad members just poof, just disappeared out of the blue. But that's okay. But the White House didn't like it. The White House apparently didn't like her tone. You know, because if you're a Democrat, you need to follow orders. The White House press secretary had some choice words to say.
Hey, great. Follow up on Cori Bush. She gave a speech last night after the results came in, and she said to AIPAC, who spent heavily against her, "I'm coming to tear your kingdom down." Does the president have an opinion on that statement?
So, look, the president has always been very clear, and very recently after the assassination attempt of the last president, about lowering rhetoric, right? Lowering political rhetoric, and the importance of doing that. It is important that we be very mindful of what we say. This kind of rhetoric is inflammatory and divisive and incredibly unhelpful. Look, we're going to continue to condemn any type of political rhetoric in that way, in that vein. And so it is important to be mindful in what we say and how we say it. But we cannot have this type of inflammatory, divisive language in our political discourse. Not now.
Yeah, can't have that language. Can't have that language. Can't have that language. Can't have that language. You got to watch the tone. So what happened here? Shot the case study QB, good friend of the show, who's wrongly being censored. Let's play this video.
Another member of the Progressive Squad will be out of a job come January. Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush lost her Democratic primary yesterday after a bitter and expensive primary battle. St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell will be the Democratic nominee in the Deep Blue District. At the center of this race, Bush's refusal to vote to condemn Hamas in the weeks after the October 7th attack on Israel, and what many saw as an incendiary series of comments about Israel's military response. My great panelists are back with me. I want to play some of what Cori Bush said last night.
AIPAC, I'm coming to tear your kingdom down. And let me put all of these corporations on notice. I'm coming after you too, pulling me away from my position as Congresswoman. All you did was take some of the strings off.
Oh, so you're telling me as soon as you get into Congress and U.S. Senate, then the strings get attached. So, like, well, what do you mean? Like, okay, well, what happens now? Because let's face it, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of nice, wonderful benefits of being a congressman or a woman. I mean, Jamal Green said it on the Breakfast Club too, like, oh, wow, you get catered and taken care of. Ooh la la. So now that you're no longer part of that clubhouse, you want to get back in, like, let me in. Let me in. Let me back in. I know I should be more mature, but after doing this for 7 years, after 7 years of seeing these politicians lie to us, they deserve to be mocked. After all, I want to start everybody's morning right and righteously angry.
Now, AIPAC, for those who don't know, is a pro-Israel lobbying group. They have a big fundraising arm, and they play in political campaigns, including in this one. They raised a lot of money. I talked to somebody who was involved in it before the show, from Democrats and Republicans. And candidacies like Cori Bush have become a magnet for people who are upset at some Democrats like Cori Bush for giving donations. Again, I'm told Democrats and Republicans, they did spend nearly $9 million on ads in their super PAC, and they wanted to defeat her because of her stance on Israel, point blank.
Yeah, but they invested money and they wanted to defeat her. And it was the voters in a Democratic primary in her district who actually defeated her. And
well, that, and she also abandoned her political voting base. See, here's the thing. Something that corporate media won't talk about, because the big brain people at CNN, let's face it, CNN is a sinking ship. It is. Max, formerly known as HBO, whatever you are. Anyways, sorry, I'm a little bit disappointed with HBO, especially with what they did for that season finale of House of the Dragon. And you know, I'm gonna give you guys my 2 cents after this segment. Okay, what I think about that season finale. God awful. You know, the progressives like AOC, the whole squad, air quote, Bernie, they abandoned their voting base. Okay, they abandoned their voting base. They abandoned their voting base. Hold on. They abandoned their voting base. They didn't keep their movement together. They just assumed, okay, everybody vote Democrat and shut up. That's why she lost. She abandoned the very people. That's why no one really came in mass to help her.
You know, if Cori Bush ever seeks to return to public office, I just want to know what the attack ads are going to be like about the strings that are attached to her, apparently, in Congress that she now feels are no longer attacked.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think her response is sort of exhibit A to why she was defeated. That sort of approach to politics doesn't really help. So, you know, it was partly the AIPAC money, her stance on Israel, her comments, her lack of condemnation around Hamas. But also, she wasn't always a good Democrat either. She wasn't always
What is a good Democrat? I got the answer for you. The one that follows orders, doesn't upset the apple cart, doesn't tip it over or anything like that, follows Nancy Pelosi, and just says things but never does things. That's the reason.
a backer of some of Biden's big projects. You saw this in the Jamal Bowman race as well. Israel played a role in that, and AIPAC. But also, sometimes these folks want good Democrats. And guess what Democratic voters want? They want good Democrats. And often they want, maybe a little to the left. Sometimes they want centrists who behave like centrists and comport themselves like centrists.
Yes, behave like centrists. Jank, you wasted your time with Justice Democrats, brand new Congress, Our Revolution, DSA, all that stuff. Same thing for you, Kyle, Justice Democrat. I was going to let you out of this dime store, Eminem. Think about all the capital people wasted, time, energy, resources, money. Your very essence into thinking, oh, yeah, we can reform the Democratic Party. It sounded good on paper, theoretically. But see, here's the thing. You got to comport yourself a certain way. You must follow orders. Follow the orders. Shut up. No, they're telling. Why do you think? Why does anyone not think for a minute that AOC was just shutting up and following the orders? Because that's what you're supposed to do. Simple as that. Uno, dos, tres. 1, 2, 3. Follow orders. A, B, C, X, Y, Z.
And you have Cori Bush proving that she might not be the cup of tea for these voters.
Although in this particular race, the Democratic opponent who won, Wesley Bell, and I want to play what he argues.
Now, here's the good Democrat.
In a second. I don't think he's so much of a centrist. I think he's pretty progressive,
right?
Which fits the district, which is very blue. And he was a very strong candidate, which is why these groups played. And clearly the voters felt that they had a good alternative. Listen to what he said last night.
I believe that words matter. And for those who know me, running a campaign on the issues is what I do. It's what we do. But this race got nasty.
It got nasty. Oh, my God. This is the kind of guy that's going to tone police. This is the kind of guy who's going to be like, hey, watch your words. Don't be mean.
That in my hand to everyone in this race. At the end of the day, we need to move this region forward, and we're going to do it together, y'all.
Yeah. Comport himself like a centrist, right?
Not comport yourself like a centrist. Oh, we're here at CNN. We constantly lie to the American people too, Remember the time when we said that there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? Or either that we were listening to what the Bush-Cheney administration was telling us and nobody pushed back and anyone that did lost their job? Hey, remember all of us here at corporate media where we never really asked, hey, what's going to happen to those people who caused that 2008 economic crash? And I know, maybe I should be more serious talking about this. But after a while, folks, don't you see the joke? I'm laughing, and yet corporate media wonders, how come nobody respects us anymore? It's because you're clowns. You're just constantly eating establishment booty hole. That's what y'all are doing at CNN. I should be nicer. I should comport myself better to be a respectable person. You know, then I'd be like these people, and I got to look myself in the mirror. And you know something? I'm a beautiful man, and I like saying, Kit, you keep on hitting those home run homers, honey child.
Not necessarily centers on the policy,
great
but
point.
in terms of his presentation. Go ahead.
And I just, as you come in, I just want to talk more broadly about the so-called squad. The 4 sort of OG squad members came in together, but since then we have seen Jamal Bowman, who was also defeated in a primary, same kind of story. Cori Bush, as we were just talking about, and then Summer Lee is still there along with the 4 others. So there are 5 who will be there still in January.
I mean, it is kind of remarkable because I remember when the squad was formed and how much power they had in Congress, and we have seen it dwindle. I will say, I actually talked to a lot of my old Hill sources about this. People were texting me about Cori Bush last night, and they made the same point that you did, honestly. That was, yes, AIPAC had spent a lot of money on this. They had spent a lot of money in Bowman's race, but they argued, and this was people, honestly, Republicans and Democrats, that both of them weren't good candidates, that they questioned even without all of that money coming from AIPAC, would they have still lost? And I'm not, so, you know, I haven't spent a lot of time digging into each of them particularly, but I thought I heard it from so many people on both sides of the aisle, and these questions of, you know, just that they weren't good candidates to begin with. They came in on a wave, you know, when there was a lot of momentum in the Democratic Party, but maybe now people are reevaluating.
Well, it's candidate and then representative.
Exactly.
So it's a question of whether they were representing the majority of their.
Were they representing, or is it that were they just nothing burger that caused the original base to support them to evaporate? I remember a time when Bernie Sanders would fill out stadiums. I remember a time when AOC would have legions. Now, theoretically, they kind of sort of do because you have the online mob, but the progressive movement, it's gone. Whatever it once was is a phantom, a memory, destroyed by the very same people, the squad, Bernie Sanders, by conforming it and putting it into the DNC. Which is why you still get text messages, ding, 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 from Kamala, the Democrats saying, hey, man, can you give me $5, $10, $15, $20? Because you got to comport yourself a certain way to be a Democrat. Speaking of Democrats, you know, just one, because, again, you got to be a centrist, right? We're going to play the game again, folks. Let's play the game. We're going to play a game. Play a game. Before we end this segment, we're going to play a game. Play a game. We'll see if something happens. See if something changed. Going to Kamala's Twitter account and see, hey, look, fighting for the people. Because she's a centrist, right? You know, but people are saying, wow, what a great progressive tickets because you got Tim Walz in there. Oh, la, la. All right, so hold on. Load up the campaign website. Boom, asking for money. All right, nothing has fundamentally changed there. Close. Well, you got the store, you got the events, you got Take Action, meet Tim Walz, and meet Kamala Harris. No policy. But you got to watch the tone, folks. Watch the language. You got to comport yourself a certain way. This is why nothing's got done. Because nobody in the squad was ever going to compose themselves in a way that would make progressives happy because they were happy to follow along with the Democratic Party. And yet, even when they did stand up, they weren't going to get support because they abandoned us. Never forget the most infamous thing of all, forced the vote. So whether or not we ever hear again from Jamal Bowman or Cori Bush, just remember, when they were in the clubhouse, yes, they might say or tweet things out that we would agree with. But actions and deeds speak louder than words and statements. You must fight. And since they chose not to fight, they were abandoned. Folks, you cannot reform the Democrat Party. If you compose yourself a certain way, then you're a good little puppet.